Um, so, we get, this is from Ian. I talked until late last night with Hitch. We were discussing the non-communist left of the early 50s. He can't run a mile just now, but be reassured the Rolls-Royce mind is purring smoothly, which is a very good line there from Ian McEwan. Now I'm going to introduce someone who I've admired and I wish I could say I knew. I know him through his poetry. I think we are lucky to be living in a time when there are still great poets. Seamus Heaney is still with us. And I do believe that the greatest English poet alive is James Fenton. He is simply remarkable. If you don't know his work, it is the most, it's as accessible as Philip Larkin, as deep as Eliot or any poet you wish it to be. It's as long-lasting and as refreshing to the mind as poetry can be. It is absolutely perfect. He has been one of Christopher's closest friends for the longest possible time since their Oxford days as undergraduates. And he is in New York, so we want to say hello, if we can, to James Fenton. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Thank you.
James, I've spoken a little about the extraordinary sodality, the group that you form with Martin and Ian and Clive James and Salman and Christopher, a group of friends who've stayed together in a way that is really quite extraordinarily inspiring. I wish I could say I knew anyone of my generation who had an equivalent. And it's not only the strength of your friendship, it is also the quite astounding depth of all of your individual talents. When this evening was planned and Christopher knew that he wasn't going to be able to take part, one of the things that he was very excited about was the possibility of you reading a poem. And I know we'd all love to hear that.
Yes.
Which one have you chosen?
Yeah, and you suggested it as the skip?
The Skip, which is one of my favourites.
Is the one that Christopher suggested.
Good. Well, we'd love to hear it.
Well, then I'll read it. And I'll just say, before I do so, what I always say in America, I know that I'm talking to you in England, but in America we say that a skip is a dumpster. The skip. I took my life and threw it on the skip, reckoning the next door neighbours wouldn't mind if my life hitched a lift to the council tip with their dry rot and rubble. What you find with skips is the whole community joins in. Old mattresses appear, doors kind of drift along with all that won't fit in the bin, and stuff the binman can't be fished to shift. I threw away my life, and there it lay, and grew quite sodden. What a dreadful shame, clucked some old bag and sucked her teeth. The way the young these days, no values, me I blame. But I blamed no one. Quality control had loused it up, and that was that. Enough said. I couldn't stick at home. I took a stroll and passed the skip and left my life for dead. Without my life, the beer was just as foul, the landlord still as filthy as his wife. The chicken in the basket was an owl, and no one said, Jim lad, where's the life? Well, I got back that night, the worse for wear, but still just capable of single vision. Looked in the skip, my life, it wasn't there. Some bugger'd nicked it without my permission. Okay, so I got angry and began to shout and woke the street. Okay. And I was sick all down the neighbour's van. And I disgraced myself on the parquet. And then, you know how, if you've had a few, you'll wake at dawn all healthy like sea breezes, raring to go and thinking, clever you got away with it. And then, oh Jesus, it hits you. Well, that morning, just at 6, I woke, got up, and looked down at the skip. There lay my life, still sodden on the bricks. There lay my poor old life, arse over tip. Or was it mine? Still dressed, I went downstairs and took a long, cool look. The truth was dawning. Someone had just exchanged my life for theirs. Poor fool, I thought. I should have left a warning. Some bastard saw my life and thought it nicer than what he'd had. Yet what he'd had seemed fine. He never caught his fingers in the slicer the way I'd managed with that life of mine. His life lay glistening in the rain, neglected, but still a decent and authentic life. Some people I can think of, I reflected, would take that thing as soon as you'd say knife. It seemed a shame to miss a chance like that. I brought the life in, dried it by the stove. It looked so fetching, stretched out on the mat. I tried it on. It fitted, like a glove. And now, when some local bat drops off the twig, and new folk take the house and pull up floors and knock down walls and hire some kind of big container, say a skip, for their old doors, I'll watch it like a hawk, and every day I'll make at least, half a dozen trips. I've furnished an existence in that way. You'd not believe the things you find on skips.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, James Fenton. The wonderful James Fenton, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, James. Thank you. Now,